Today I want to share with you the power of possibility. So you may notice we have banners around the room. There are 12 of them. These represent what Unity co-founders call our 12 powers. Or these are spiritual abilities that all of us have. And we're using them all the time. The question is, am I aware of how I'm using them? And the power for this month, June, is imagination. The banner is back there on the wall. The color is light blue, maybe for blue sky. That's how I like to think of it. And normally I'd wear a blue shirt, but I got my free dad hugs shirt on today. Thank you again, Allison, for that powerful reading. I can't stress enough the experience of being able to show up with an open heart and with love and really living the truth that we are all connected at a place like Free Mom Hugs organization. They show up around town at different things that are going on. They have a booth with a tent, and you can go there and do just like their founder, offer a free hug to anyone who meets your eye, and you will come out of there changed, I guarantee it. You will hear things you didn't know anything about, as was shared. The person's mom they had not had a hug from their mom in 4 years. Can you believe that? No, that's heartbreaking to me. But we can be that love and be that light of the Spirit. We can represent that community whose circle of compassion is so large that nobody is outside of it. Imagination is our ability to see beyond appearances. It's the power to form mental images and perceive possibilities beyond what is presently visible, right? It has the location in the body. Each of the 12 powers has a location in our body. This one's kind of between our eyes. You can think of it as your mind's eye or your spiritual insight can see. It fits very well into a spiritual concept that we have called divine order. If you've been hanging around here long, you have heard this phrase, divine order. And I want to share what it is, but first I'm going to share what it's not. What maybe I would like it to be, but it's not. It's not everything's going my way. Right? That's if I have a way that I need things to go in the world, and if that means I got a way that everyone's supposed to act. And the problem is you haven't got the memo yet because y'all aren't acting right according to me the way that I think that you're supposed to act. If I find a moment in my life when everyone seems like they've gotten the memo and they're doing all the right things according to me, and I say, everything's in divine order. No, that everything's in my mind's order, and that is not what I'm after. Divine order recognizes that the universe unfolds in the same stages, predictable stages. It's mind, idea, expression. Everything begins in mind, divine mind, not my thinking mind. The mind of God, if you will. This place of silence that is beyond understanding, that exists below the level of thought, which makes it very difficult to talk about, but we do our best anyway. Everything that ever was, including this planet and everything, began in divine mind. It began as a divine idea in divine mind. It then moves to an idea in small m mind, my thinking mind. Now, to this point, it doesn't exist in the world yet, but it moves from an idea in my mind to a reality in the world. So you can use anything that has ever unfolded, any invention that's ever been made. I just saw a car go by, the whole concept of a wheeled vehicle. Divine mind as a divine idea, and then a human idea, and then an expression of that divine idea that just rolled down the street. This is what imagination does for us as a spiritual power. It helps us see beyond limitations. Right? Our thinking mind is oriented toward limitations. That's its job. And that's not a problem unless I believe everything that it tells me. But I have, at the very core of my being, the Spirit. That's who I am underneath all of it. And from that place, I can draw on that which is not yet manifest in the world, from divine mind. So I can see beyond my current limitations. That might be something like a practical application, a job that I really feel called to. It's like, man, I really want to be this or do this in the world. That is the Spirit calling me forward. It's been said that the desires of our heart are exactly that. That is the Spirit calling us forward. No matter what they might look like. I mean, they might look like things that are, self-serving, or it's like if you want a car, maybe you want to make more money, and then there's part of you because somebody in your far past made you feel bad about wanting to make more money. And you think, oh, maybe it's not okay. It's not okay for me to make more money. That desire is calling you forward through that untruth so that you can discover what it is the Spirit has in store for you that you will not discover until you choose to follow that guidance. So the desires of our heart are calling us forward, no matter what they may look like from the outside. And I said it about the kitchen, and I'll say it again about anything that we undertake spiritual vision to create. It's never about the thing. It's never about this kitchen project is not about the kitchen. Yes, a kitchen is going to come out of it. It is about applying our spiritual power in our lives for the benefit of our community, that we might benefit the whole Columbia community. Imagination helps us see beyond limitation. It helps us direct our effort and energy, right? Because once you know where the Spirit is calling you to or what you're being called to, you know where to direct your energy and your time. And it all began with an idea in your mind that came from the divine mind. Imagination helps us become, right? We're continually creating our experience based on our thought patterns in our mind. What we know here at Unity is that we have the power to shift our thinking. And when we shift our thinking, our world changes. And what that looks like is it feels like the world changes. Right? I'm remembering again from Eddie Watkins Jr. You change the way you see a thing, that thing changes. That's what it looks like. You think, how is that possible? Because that thing that changes was my concept of that thing in my head. I changed my thinking, I changed my life. If you're feeling limitations in your life, believe it or not, they are self-created. We all have done it. No reason to feel bad about self-created limitations. That's part of the human experience. But we have the possibility to shift our thinking and move through those and let go of whatever is no longer serving us and embrace a new way of seeing and a new way of being in the world. And it all begins with vision or with imagination. I had a couple of things came to mind that I wanted to share with this has happened to me. So many years ago, I had, the backstory is I had been in a band for several years based in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I stopped doing that after 6 years. It felt like it was time to make a change. I moved to California. I lived in Santa Cruz for about 1.5 years, working with a software company. And then it became clear that that chapter was closing, and I went back to Ann Arbor. And while I was back, I was still playing, and I had started writing some music, kind of turned my attention to that. And I had a vision. My imagination brought me this vision of a studio space. Now, bear in mind, I'm living in an apartment that's this big. I'm late 20s. But I had this vision, and it was so clear to me, I drew it out on a piece of paper, kind of like a top-down view. And in the middle was a rug. It was kind of like a Persian rug. And for whatever reason, it was important to me. It had tassels on the end, so I drew all the little tassels on the end. And over here was a desk with the recordings, and over here was a place where the instruments could be, and over here was some drums or what have you. And I even went around town looking, because my apartment was this big, for maybe I have to rent a space to make this happen. And nothing was coming together, really. Now, what we ended up doing was co-opting part of our apartment, as small as it was, and turning that into a kind of a temporary space. Now, it's not what I imagined, but it allowed me to do what I wanted to do. And then time passed, and I kind of forgot about my drawing. I continued to pursue my interest in playing and writing and trying to learn to sing and all that. And we ended up moving to another town, East Lansing, Michigan. That would have been in '98. And we had an apartment, but then we bought a house. First house we ever had. Loved that house. 1920s Tudor. Tons of character. None of the walls were straight. It had wood floors like I've never seen in my life. They had depth. They were translucent. It was amazing. It's like you could look into the floors. I've never even had it since then. I think that was a magical experience. I don't know. But in this Tudor, you know, a Tudor is like a pointy kind of house, right? A steep pitched roof. Well, at the very top of it, someone had changed the attic space into a carpeted room. Guess what? Throw down a Persian rug in the middle of that. It is exactly what I drew. And I didn't go looking for it. I just realized it when it was in front of me. Sometimes that's how these things can work. Another example, also in that late 90s era. So when I quit playing music, when I was playing music, I had a part-time job in the afternoons. My schedule, I was up till 4 a.m. every day, and I would sleep till noon, and then I would work in the afternoon, and then I'd do whatever rehearsals or shows that we were playing. And sometimes it was nothing, but once you get on that schedule, it's easier to stay on that schedule. Because when we did play, I was probably going to be up that late anyway. And life changed a lot when I took a full-time job after I stepped away from the band. And part of that job, it was a completely different world. I was working for a software company, and they had, one of the owners was a big company, and they would do things like create trainings for us, like management trainings and all that stuff, including, you've probably heard of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits. So they had 7 Habits training, and I went, because that's what you do. And part of that training was to come up with a vision and mission, like a personal vision and mission. And mine came to me crystal clear. And I remember it, and it is this. This is really prescient. This is way before I ever got into anything that you'd call spirituality. My vision and mission was to discover and promote simple truth. To discover and promote simple truth. And the workshop leader said, that's too vague. And in my head I said, no, it's perfect and I know it. I don't know how I know it, but I know it. I got what he was saying though. I mean, he was looking for something a little different than that. So I said, okay, fine. And I set a goal that I wanted to be the CEO of a software company, and they always tell you got to put a timeline on it. And that was a pretty goal, a BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. So I said I want that to happen within 5 years. 6 months later, this company had gone through all kinds of painful transitions. And I got a call on a Saturday from the owner saying, we'd like to meet with you. And I thought, something is up. That doesn't happen. And why they wanted to meet with me, they said, on Monday, we are firing the CEO, and we would like you to step in. And I said, heck yeah, sign me up, I'm in, and I did. Now, I learned a very important lesson about goal setting at that time, which is that you gotta be very specific about what you want, right? I like to use the example of a car. We all know about cars, what make, model, year, color, which features and all that. I forgot to say it should be a functional, profitable software company. The same reason that door opened like that was because this was a deeply troubled, dysfunctional company. Now, I still took that as an opportunity. And what they said to me was, your job is make it stop losing money. And I did. And 2 years later, with our head barely above water, I bought it from them. And that is the company I own today. So you can see these things come from this vision. It could be anything. Even if you feel like, well, this is a selfish vision, there is no such thing. And you will never find that out if you don't pursue it. If you dismiss it because you think it's selfish, because somebody told you it's not okay for you to have nice things, it's not okay to have that kind of job or whatever, you will never discover the illusion that is holding you back until you become willing to pursue it anyway. And you will find out it's never about the car. It's never about the job. It's about discovering the power within you, which is the presence of God within you. It's immutable. It is the only thing in this world that is immutable. We say that nothing's reliable except death and taxes, and I get that, but the Spirit is 100% reliable. I guarantee it is present in you, the same as in me, just as strong in you as it is in me, or the most powerful person we've ever seen on this planet. It is the same for all of us. Our journey is to discover its presence and learn how to live from that place. And trust me, to do that requires the power of imagination. You really got to step out of the self-imposed limitations that we don't even know are self-imposed. You've got to be willing to take on some big, hairy, audacious goals. And as I talked about this recently, pointed out, be careful who you share it with, because there are people that will gladly, thinking they're doing you a favor, tear you down for wanting to have that. Okay, those are not your people, not for that goal. I'm going to put it this way. I had a teacher that said it like this. If you have a job that you don't like, you are stealing someone else's job. It is your duty to go find the job you do like, because you're keeping someone from the job you don't like. That job is perfect for someone. It's just not you. Can you hear that? You feel that? If you have a job you don't like, you're stealing someone else's job. Stop doing that. Go get the job you want. Why? I don't know. You have to do it in order to find out. That's the only way forward. That's it. So this kitchen project is now unfolding in our collective imagination. Did I put slides up? I did. So these are the same ones from before. I love this because what contractors will do, we learned, you tell them what you want, right? And this is all in our minds. It's not there yet. But they can go with the magic of computers or whatever they have and do renderings like this. Go to the next one. And the next one. See, they're saying this is what it could be like. Now, it's not going to be exactly like this, but this is substantially what it could be. It's in our mind's eye. And so we are undertaking a process that I call spiritual visioning. You could call it goal setting, of making that a reality here in our community, because we have all that we need to lavishly support ourselves. We hear that every single Sunday. Full well knowing this is not about the kitchen. It's about discovering the power within you. We get to do this together. I hope this project is making at least some of you very nervous. I'm serious. Because that fear that we have, you got to name it. That's your work to do through this. That's an opportunity for growth. There is something that it is time for you to let go of. It's showing up as a fear. And if you're willing to simply sit with it, not resist it, argue with it, try and push it away, don't tell it it's wrong or whatever, don't do that. Just sit with it and ask, what do you have to teach me? Walk with it. It's part of you. We don't want to reject parts of ourselves. We want to integrate these lost parts of ourselves. So can you see when I say, yes, we're going to enjoy this beautiful kitchen. When I say it's not about the kitchen, do you get that? It's about the process of making that into a reality. Now you take this elsewhere in your life, right? You apply it to that job you have that you don't like. You apply it to any area where there's something inside you calling you forward. That is the God presence in you. Whatever that may look like is different for all of us. I can share some of my own examples, and I can share with you the kinds of things that I've seen. But at the end of the day, it's individual. It's between you and the Spirit. That's what this is all about. The kitchen is just a manifestation of this process, of this learning process that we're undertaking. And we could, of course, allow our vision to expand far beyond that. Wouldn't it be wonderful if this piece of land, this building, and this community became a place that everyone in this whole area knew about, where they could grow in the Spirit in the way that is good and right for them? A full acceptance. A community of love. A community of cherished belonging, which means that you can be a part of it, whoever you are, and you are a cherished part of it, not like a tolerated part of it. That's not what we want to be doing. A cherished part of this community. What might that look like? Well, we can never do that if we can't do this. So let's do this and see where we're at. See what the Spirit has in mind for us to let our light shine. Right? To share this good news, if you will, of the presence of God that is within. I like that idea. So some questions. What future is Spirit inviting you to imagine? I want you to carry these forward with you this week. What is the Spirit inviting you to imagine? What future? Let it be outrageous. Keep it to yourself. But let it grow in you. What is seeking expression through you? It could be a trip. You want to go somewhere? Fun, looks fun. By the way, anything you undertake, here's a litmus test. It needs to be fun. If it seems fun, that's a good sign that it's the Spirit calling you forward. Do you want to go to a place you've never been? Take a trip. Miss Elizabeth just went on a cruise in Europe, in Italy. I know this because she told me, and she also put it on Facebook. And I was like, that looks amazing. I know I could do that if I wanted to. I don't know that it's mine to do, but I recognize I could do that. Absolutely. Maybe it's a job. Maybe it's a life partner, a spouse, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's a financial goal or a health goal. I had the goal of being out of debt at one time. That came to pass. Maybe something about our health. I just want you to be open to whatever is arising, and you let it arise without judgment. Just acknowledge it for what it is. And you will know what's yours to do. You will know what steps to take when you inquire within and ask what steps to take. And remember, it's never about the house, the blouse, the spouse. It's about discovering the power that is within you, as you, that is calling for expression. Because this world needs healing, and that healing only begins within. It's the only place it comes from. So I hope you do it. We need it. Trust me, just look at the news for 2 seconds. Like, yeah, this world needs healing, that is for sure. I'm going to close with this. Every meaningful creation begins twice. First in consciousness, and then in form. Remember divine order. I'm going to read this affirmation and we can share it together. With divine imagination, I see beyond appearances to the good that is expressing through me. Let's say that together. With divine imagination, I see beyond appearances to the good that is expressing through me.